Hey, the Morning Brew continues today. We're live downtown here on Thursday morning. I want to thank our friends down at Lindy's Cafe for the view out the window. I'm Larry Aarons, your host, along with Nika Allen, who has been doing a great job filling in for Amber this week. Thanks for being here, Nika. All right, live theater. We do a lot of that here on the show, and today is no exception. This segment brought to you by abqtheater.org. The place to consult and look and see what's going on with live theater. It's your total guide to live theater in Albuquerque. Go to abqtheater.org to see what's playing this weekend. Well, we've got two gentlemen here from the Adobe Theater. Matthew, you don't mind if I introduce the director first, do you? Yeah, you know, they gotta get their due. Ned Record is here, director with the Adobe Theater. Good to meet you, Ned.
Good to meet you as well.
Yeah, thank you. And Matthew Van Wettering is here. He's an actor with the Adobe Theater, also in the new production, The Man from Earth.
Yes.
Guys, welcome.
Well, thanks for having us.
I love the storyline on this. This is a
It's an odd one,
time
isn't it?
travel kind of thing.
Yeah, it's weird sci-fi out of the 1960s that we've sort of pulled into present day.
What's the backstory on the script and everything?
Backstory on the script was this guy Jerome Bixby who did Star Trek and what was
Twilight
it?
Zone.
Twilight Zone. Thank you. He was a science fiction writer back in the 1960s. Did a lot of that stuff. Wrote The Fantastic Voyage. Had this story kicking around in his brain for most of his life, and right around 1998. He got really sick. He was on his deathbed and needed to get this story out, so dictated the thing to his son.
Wow.
Turned into a film in the mid-2000s and converted to a play in the past couple of years. It just reads as a play beautifully. So
How did you choose this one to direct?
I saw the movie on Netflix.
Said, hey, we can do this.
Yeah, I saw it and thought, I was like, this is a really interesting movie, but this would be a great play. And when it converted, first thing I did was called him up and go, you know, we've always wanted to do a project together. Well, this is the opportunity. Right here.
So Matthew, you played the professor who's trying to explain to his colleagues that here's a man that lived, what, 14,000 years ago or so.
Give or take a year.
And what would he be like today? And you're trying to relate this story to a bunch of colleagues who are all skeptical, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not so much time travel as he's lived that entire time, day by day.
Huh.
And it's these experiences, these amazing, extraordinary experiences he's had through those years that really make him who he is. And this is the first time he's ever been able to tell anybody or thought he was able in a safe place in order to do that. And these are all experts in what they do and a great knowledge of history and their own specialties. And so they're able to quiz him and really see if what he's saying is true. But, you know, in the end, there's always that voice in the back of your head saying, it's impossible. But and that's really the crux of it.
Interesting.
Drama, comedy, all of it.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what starts out as a sci-fi turns into a drama. And I come from a very, very highly physical comedic background, so I've had to insert that as much into the show.
Right.
Because I can't get away with it. Like it's or get away from it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's just sort of my upbringing. So you find the comedy in drama, you find the drama in comedy, and you just have fun with it, really.
I sense that as you're performing this, Matthew, you're convincing the audience that you're the real deal, right?
Well, I think if it works, it's not so much that, but it's the stories that are doing the work for him.
I see.
He has no interest in whether or not they actually believe him.
Really?
Because when they leave, their minds are going to do whatever they want. They're going to justify things in different directions, and there's no telling what will happen then. So all he can do is you know, I try to identify with them in the present. So.
My goodness.
How long have you guys been working on this?
Different stages. So I approached him about it a year ago. We submitted it to the Adobe Probably about September, and when they accepted it, I just started doing my job from September onward, cast the show somewhere in mid-February, and then it was the first week of April, I think. Does that sound about right? 5 or 6 weeks ago?
Right.
That we really got into the rehearsal process, and we've just been slowly speeding up since then, and to the point where we do open a week from tomorrow.
Wow.
So
That's pretty fast,
Yeah,
actually, to learn all of that material.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know how these guys do it.
Yeah, that's
but-
Now,
impressive.
you're opening May 16th
May
at the Adobe.
16th, yeah.
I got to ask you, as you're playing this role, Matthew, here you are, you're a 14,000-year-old guy. Are you a wise man? Are you an enlightened guy? Are you just somebody that's filled with wonder at what's going on? Who are you?
Absolutely. Without giving too much away, I think that you know, it comes up that you can only know as much as what the rest of the world knows. He's not omniscient or omnipotent. He can't know more than what everybody else knows. So all he can do is study, and then use his past experience to move forward.
So what was he doing 14,000 years ago? Was he living in a cave and chasing
Whatever everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
You know, he was
trying
hunting
to kill
for
something
his
and drag
food.
it back to the
Yeah.
cave and eat it, right?
Yeah, he was trying to
absolutely.
survive.
Yeah.
You know, it talks about the basic things that he learned in the beginning. You know, it was cold. They learned it was warmer at lower elevations, that kind of thing. You know, there's an exploration that goes on. You know, he moves further east and then further east, and then theories of the flat world, and then you know it's got to progress from nothing to something.
With the development of the character, are there relationships that exist? Because when I think about being alive for like 14,000 years, you have, you know, relationships and you watch people, you know, come and go throughout your life. And I don't know, that seems very taxing to me.
Yeah, no,
so.
we address that in the show pretty heavily. There's the character does have a love interest, and it does become that question of, you know, do you even remember how to love? Do you understand that when at 14,000 years we did this this little math study and figured out that a year in the life of a 14,000-year-old is the equivalent time perspective-wise of a day in the life of a 42-year-old.
Wow.
Like as far as the amount of time, you know how time speeds up
Sure.
as you get older. So a year really goes by as a blip, and the fact that this character moves on every 10 years, any relationship she has is essentially a fling. So what does
Yeah.
that mean, and what does that mean to this character that's in love with him?
And if you value that relationship,
Yeah.
how much do you tell them? Because you're really going to hurt them in the
Yeah.
end, you know, because he has to move on.
Yeah.
So, and I really feel like it's not the time that has shaped him. It's just like us, you know, it is the people he knew and those relationships he formed and those conversations he had to build on the knowledge that he had that makes him who he is.
Do you age him at all in the play, or is he just who he is?
They actually addressed that early on, and I'm so glad the playwright did this. It pretty much says early on that he stopped aging at 35.
Oh,
So we're able to just go 35. I'd buy it,
poof, 35. Yeah.
and don't have to. You know, we don't have to do that. We don't
Yeah.
have to put him in a loincloth or anything.
You know, that's the realism in the show. As much as the concept is very science fiction,
Yeah.
there is a lot of realism in there, and it's the relationships between his colleagues and himself. These people he's decided to tell, you know, for the first time.
Without giving anything away, as you're explaining this to your academic colleagues, how many are believing you and how many are not believing you?
That's the roller coaster. You know, it's that little voice in the back of your head that says this is impossible.
Yeah.
They'll continuously question, back and forth, back
Right.
and forth.
Huh. What a show. Okay, so it premieres on the 16th. You're running through when?
June 8th. We will run Friday and Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And then we're doing Sunday matinees at 2.
Okay.
And so that'll be every weekend for those 4 consecutive weekends.
How many in the cast?
There are 10 people in the cast.
Interesting.
So
Are you on stage most of the time, Matthew?
Yeah.
It's a-
So it's we have a pre-show and then we have the run of the show. It's not a long play.
No.
So it should be able to keep the audience involved for that full span. But I think it's running a little
75 minutes.
a
give
little
or
over an
take.
hour. So
nice.
So,
Have you faced any major challenges when preparing for this production?
yes, quite a few. There's a considerable amount. One is, how do you take a textbook, turn it into a stage play, because it's so academic, and still make it entertaining? That's a huge
Yeah.
challenge. And then we do face, there's a couple revelations that happen throughout the course of the show that are fairly controversial and are also fairly secretive. So I think one of the biggest challenge is working around the controversy so as to not hurt anyone's feelings while still telling a good story. And then the other part has just been keeping the secret from everyone.
Hey,
begging-
I'm really 14,000 years old.
well, it's beyond that
Yeah.
even. There's just a few plot points that come up in the show that we're talking to the press going, so I know you know this. Please don't tell anyone.
Yeah, let's not talk about this piece of it.
This is the Sixth Sense. Please don't let everyone know he was dead the whole time. It's that kind of
Yeah.
idea.
Interesting. Hey, Ned, great to meet you.
Great to meet
what
you
a
as well.
challenging production.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
thanks for bringing it to our attention
Yeah,
here. Matthew,
not a problem.
best wishes on this performance. Really
Thank you.
great stuff. Matthew Van Wettering, who plays the lead in Jerome Bixby's The Man from Earth at the Adobe Theater, opening May 16th. And Ned Record is the director of the production. Thank you, gentlemen. The Albuquerque Theater Guild brings you this segment, your guide to live theater in Albuquerque. Go to abqtheater.org to see what's playing this weekend. This production looks worth your time over at the Adobe Theater. All right.
Do
Guys,
they
thanks.
break a leg?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're going to go from theater to the MMA here in just a moment on the Morning Brew. We'll continue right after this.